Good morning, dear students, and welcome once again to the another session of biology basic classes. So today we shall see some of the basic characteristics of the living organisms. So yesterday I have introduced you to what is biology, what are the branches of biology, and some important scientists who have contributed very important contributions in biology. So Kannada medium students ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನೀವು 10ನೇ ತರಗತಿವರೆಗೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಡ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜೀಸನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ರೈಟ್. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ದೋಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು read it or make it in English. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ PUC it is all the medium of instruction will be in English. So make it a habit, ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ. So I am just giving you some tips so that ನೀವು ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ್ದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. So what do you do is ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೈ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾಳೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಾರಪ್ಪ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ರೀಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್, ಓಕೆ, ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಜೀವಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ. ಈಗ ಜೀವಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ. ಆದರೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ, ಓಕೆ. ಸೆಲ್, ಕೋಶ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಕೋಶ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬೇಡ್ರಿ. ಈಗ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್, ಓಕೆ. ಆಗಾಗ ನಾನು ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾಟ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್, ರೈಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ನೀವುಗಳು ಏನು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತಂದರೆ ದಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್, right, try to translate those words and understand by yourself. If any difficulty, just put a comment, I will be there to assist you, okay. So directly starting up with the today's topic, right. So today we shall look into some of the basic characteristics of living organisms. Right on the board you can see some of the basic characteristics I have already mentioned, okay. So today's class we shall see these points in detail. One by one we shall discuss. You have already come across this particular discussion in your lower classes, in your 10th I guess, right. So the basic common characteristics that differentiates the living organism from a non-living thing. In this biosphere you find both living and non-living things. So how do you differentiate, how do you justify your statement that this particular what you call thing is living and this is non-living? Moving further, so the basic characteristics of living organisms. So when you say anything, a cell, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಫೈ, ಲೈಕ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮಾರ್ಕರ್ ಪೆನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಮೇ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಿ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫೂಲ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಸರ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿಕತ್ತಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಬಟ್ ಟು ಜಸ್ಟಿಫೈ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್. That is what we are going to see in today's class. So all the living organisms have these fundamental characteristics. All living organisms ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ characteristics ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು, or we can see these characteristics in the living organisms. Number 1, protoplasm. When I say proto, refers to the primitive, ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಚೀನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನೋಡಿ. Proto means primitive, and plasm refers to the liquid phase. Plasm refers to liquid phase. Liquid ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಧ್ರುವ, you called, if I am not wrong, right? So protoplasm ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ protoplasm ಅನ್ನೋದು, this protoplasm is the very fundamental character of a very fundamental thing of a cell. So the liquid part of the cell ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the basic functional unit of life ಅಂತ ಕರೆದಿವಿ ನಾವು. So ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ the living part, the liquid phase, where all the biochemical activities, all the cell organelles are found, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು protoplasm ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. The very important part of the living organism, a cell, the first basic character, right? The non-living things ನಲ್ಲಿ you don't find the protoplasm. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ you don't find the protoplasm, you cannot call it as a living cell, living organism ಅಂತ. So protoplasm is the primitive, proto means primitive and plasm means the liquid phase. This is the very basic character of a living organism. All right, the next point, cellular structure. When I say the cellular structure, the basic unit of life is the cell. Cell na ನಾವು basic unit of life ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, because without cell there is no life. Every organism, example, consider ourselves, we are just like a building. When you compare us, just like when you compare to a building, the building is constructed using the stones or bricks, okay, without which they cannot build a wall, you cannot. The same way our body is composed, is made up of millions of cells, right? Those cells unite and form a tissue, those several tissues unite to form a organ, several organs form an organ system, and those organ system that form a particular organism. The same way the cellular structure means that every organism is made up of a basic unit called cell. Without cell there is no life. Okay, so organisms may be the whole function of the living organism. When I say, you take an example of bacteria, amoeba, okay, so these also are organisms. You take an example of like human being, or you take an example of plants. Aren't these living organisms, right? How will you say, like this and this, when you compare, there's a difference between them. Here the whole operations is taken up by a single cell. A single cell. The whole activities, life processes are being carried out by a single cell only. Whereas here, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಸೆಲ್ ಅದೇನು? Do we have only one cell? No, we are multicellular. They have n number of cells, many number of cells, right? So where based on the number of cells that take up the life processes in an organism, the organisms are categorized as single celled organisms or multi-celled organisms, right? So another important character of a living organism. Moving on to the third important character. So if considering this example, I'll repeatedly take this example only because this is what I am carrying with in my hand now, right? So this marker if I keep it for months, weeks, months, years, right? Will it change or will it decompose or ಏನಾದರೂ ಸೈಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಏನಾದರೂ? No, it remains the same, right? So it will be as good as the same if you keep it for long time. How much, right? So whereas living organisms, right, they have the series of events in their like lifespan, right? Living organisms takes birth first, okay, after the birth it will grow in size, growth takes place. What is that? I'll just put in detail in the next part of this video only. Okay, so growth, or they grow in size, right? They reproduce, andre they multiply. That is what we call, they produce the young ones similar to its own kind, right? Then after that they grow old, aging, what we call. After that it will be dead, right? Again the new organism, when it takes birth, it will grow, it will reproduce. So there is a series of events that are repeating. So every living organism has a life cycle. Every living organism has its own life cycle. Okay, got this point? Okay, all right. Next, metabolism, the fourth important character of a living organism. What is this word all about? Metabolism andre enu? As yesterday we have discussed a branch of biology, that is biochemistry anta helide nanu. I said biochemistry. Okay, this biochemistry, the chemistry when it is integrated, the chemistry that is taking place within the cell, adannu biochemistry anta helತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. That's similar idea, like our word, ee word adar jotege like it matches up. Metabolism. So metabolism is simply, simple terms nalli define ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ, to define metabolism, metabolism is catabolism and anabolism. Example, for instance, metabolism, catabolism, anabolism, you will be three terms you are observing here. So metabolism, whenever there is assembly or degradation, that together we call it as metabolism. Catabolism means what? Catabolism is the breakage. The larger molecules are broken down into simpler ones. That process we refer it to as catabolism. Anabolism is ulta. That means to say, when you assemble the small molecules forming a larger biomolecule, then it is said to be anabolism. Example, if at all any thing like in a cell, you take glucose, whenever you have food you feel energized, right? So what is happening inside? You say I have taken up the food and I feel energized now. That means to say, internally ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ cell. So glucose, what is been obtained into your body, that is been broken down. ಅದರಿಂದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎನರ್ಜಿ is nothing but that I'll introduce you in the next part of the video, right? So whenever there is breakdown, that is simply referred to as catabolism. Right? Whenever there is assimilation, or simply you call it as assembling of molecules forming a larger molecule, that process is called anabolism. The larger molecules are broken down into simpler ones, then this is called catabolism. I hope this concept is clear. Okay, let us move forward. What is respiration? Respiration, what is meant by respiration? To understand this word, to understand this particular character of a living organism, right, I have discussed that whenever there is breakdown of molecule, like for example, I just gave an example, when you have food, you feel energized. That means to say, the energy you have gained. How? Let us say glucose is being broken down, right? Ultimately to get the energy, right? Food molecules are broken down to get energy out of it. Energy is available to the cell in the form of ATP. For a cell to do any work, it needs energy. Energy, currency of the cell. How do we measure energy? In terms of presence of these molecules, ATP molecules. Adenosine triphosphate, it stands for adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so these many ATP molecules are generated, these many ATP molecules are consumed. So that is measured in this particular concept. So respiration is nothing but getting energy from the food. So that process where a cell gains energy out of the food, gets energy out of the food. So that is called, this process is called respiration. So this respiration in organisms takes place by two different means. Organisms are categorized based on that. So this formation of ATP molecules takes place in a cell in a region called mitochondria. In a cell, the formation of ATP molecules, that means the food, from the food we get energy, nothing but ATP, right? That process we call it as respiration, that takes place in the organisms. The higher organisms, it takes place in mitochondria, whereas in some of the other group of organisms where ATP formation takes place in the cytoplasm itself. These organisms we call it as anaerobic organisms, or the process by which the formation of ATP takes place in the cytoplasm only, that type of respiration is called anaerobic respiration. When the formation of ATP is taking place in the mitochondria with the involvement of oxygen, such a process is called aerobic respiration, or those organisms are said to be aerobic organisms. So aerobic and anaerobic, so these two important words have come here. So this aerobic organisms where the formation of ATP takes place, or the process of respiration takes place with the involvement of oxygen. Here there is no involvement of oxygen. These organisms do not need oxygen. right? So organisms that respire in absence of oxygen, they are anaerobic organisms. That need oxygen for the process of respiration are called aerobic organisms. All right, I hope this is clear. Next, moving on to the next part, next character, that is growth and development. Growth and development. So, the origin of life, any living organism, it starts from a single cell, right? That single cell multiplies, forms multiple number of cells, forming to tissues, like the growth takes place. Single cell becomes double, double to 4, 4 to 8, like that. So increase in number of size, increase in number of cells, that is nothing but increase the number of the size of that particular organism. So that you call it as growth, right? And the growth with the direction is defined as development. Okay, next, nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition antandre simply what getting the food, right? The nutrition value we call, okay, the ಪೌಷ್ಟಿಕತೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ we call it as ಪೌಷ್ಟಿಕತೆ, right? That is what we call nutrition. So nutrition is obtained to the organism, right? Based on this nutrition, organisms are categorized as the source from where the organism obtains the food. Food is the source of energy, right? So energy, that means to say, like, we categorize the organisms as into, based on the source of nutrition they avail, we categorize the organisms as autotrophs and heterotrophs. I hope you must be knowing the definition of autotrophs or heterotrophs. What are autotrophs and what are heterotrophs? Autotrophs are the one that obtain the energy, means energy means food. They prepare their own food, we call. Example, plants you take. Plants, we know that plants prepare their own food. From the nursery onwards, we have been coming across this statement. We have been learning this, right? Plants prepare their own food, whereas animals are referred to as heterotrophs. Heterotrophs, which cannot prepare their own food and are dependent on some other source for the energy. Why do we need food? We need food because to get energy, right? So based on that, that indirectly is nothing but the nutrition. This autotrophs and heterotrophs, example plants, heterotrophs, example animals. The one that prepare their own food, that means energy, right? They are autotrophs. We say that plants prepare their own food. Food is the form of energy. Okay. That means, do you mean to say that plants can generate energy? Yes or no? So, law of thermodynamics says that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but interchangeable from one form to another form. When I say plants prepare their own food, how do they prepare their own food? Means they undergo a process called photosynthesis. This process of photosynthesis is carried out by the plants, which is meant for the getting energy or food, to prepare the food. Whereas animals do not have this capacity to prepare their own food because they do not undergo the process of photosynthesis. Right? So animals are dependent on some other source as a source of energy. That is why they are called heterotrophs. Right? So these are the modes of nutrition which is adopted by the different organisms. Okay, so photosynthesis, that means to say it is a process where plants prepare their own food. What is the source? Right? Energy, as I said, the law of thermodynamics says that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but interchangeable from one form to another. Here plants need sunlight, which is a source of energy, and carbon dioxide along with water. These are the raw materials for that. Utilizing these raw materials, plants undergo the process of photosynthesis and they will be able to produce energy within them. So that is why we call them as autotrophs. Right? Animals do not have such phenomenon. They directly get the nutrition by different means. By absorption. Right? They absorb the energy by the food. Right? What we take the food, that animals are further categorized, that we will be studying when we start up the syllabus. Right? So we categorize animals, right? Herbivores, carnivores, okay, based on the source of food they take up. Next, continuing the discussion, till here we have discussed the nutrition. Next character is reproduction. As I said, the life cycle of the organisms involve this important, the significant process called reproduction. Non-living things cannot double, they cannot reproduce. That means to say, the individual can produce the young ones of its own kind, similar to its own kind, whereas non-living things cannot do that. Right? Living organisms have this sole property wherein they can produce the young ones of their own kind. They have the property of doubling, means replicating, means they can produce the young one of similar to itself. So this reproduction, how do you define reproduction? Reproduction is a physiological process wherein the individual reproduces young ones of its own kind. What is the purpose of this reproduction? Purpose is to have the continuity of life. Continuity of the life. If at all the organisms will not reproduce, they don't reproduce, their life stops there. Their generation will not be continued. Right? So to have the continuity of the race, organism has this property, that one of the basic character is reproduction. They have the ability to reproduce. Fine. Next, another concept is irritability or sensitivity. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಹಾಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಯು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟಚ್ ದ ಹಾಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್, what will you do? Immediately you will withdraw your hand, or will you keep your hand just like that? Oh, it's so cool. Okay, I'm feeling very nice. No, you will just withdraw your hand immediately. So this property where an organism responds to the stimulus, the situation, right? where external factor, let it be heat, let it be temperature, or let it be anything, the external factor that is been experienced by an organism, the organism quickly responds to it. So that is one of the important and very unique property in the living organisms, whereas non-living things, they don't have this property, right? Do the non-living things respond to the stimuli? No. Only the living organisms have this capacity to respond. Okay, so next property is movement. All the living organisms have this particular property of movement. When I say all the living organisms, it includes plants, animals, everything. Movement is a sole property, right? Idenappa sir hinge helikatare, like plants move. Do plants move? Yes, they also have the movement. Movement and locomotion are two different things. Really, movement and locomotion. When I say plants also can move, that doesn't mean plant should replace its position from this place to this place. Okay, animals can do that. Okay, this is movement. Right, when I am standing here, I shift the position. This is locomotion. Right, so plants also move. Right, plants also have a movement within them. Right, so since they are living, they also exhibit this property. All right, so next, excretion. Excretion is another characteristic of a living organism. When at the cellular level, okay, excretion is nothing but the removal of toxic substances. Just like how we follow in our home, how we practice in our home, we don't keep the things which are decaying or decomposing. Do we keep the same? That may be harmful for us, stinky, and that will start causing the diseases. That is harmful when you consider our home. We don't keep the waste materials with us. The same way, living organisms also have this property where whenever there is a biochemical process is taking place, ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಯೋಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಆಗ some of the materials will not be useful, that will be thrown out of the cell. Okay, when I talk about cell, okay, that part is being absorbed by the blood in our body. Blood will, what it will do? Blood ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? That will be filtered in the kidney. Blood nalli all the toxic substances will be separated in the kidney, right? If at all those toxic substances keep accumulating in the body, aವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? That will be harmful to the organism. Since that should be avoided, the process, the organisms have this property of it can throw out the toxic materials. So that process we refer it as excretion. Okay, next, another important property is healing. To some extent, all the living organisms have this basic property wherein they can heal any damage that has been occurred to the living organism. To an extent, I am just repeating, to an extent, organisms can heal on themselves, can cope up, ಅಂದರೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಅದೆಷ್ಟು ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ healing. So these are the basic characteristics of the living organisms. So I hope you have followed the class. If at all you have any doubts or any clarifications, you can just let me know. You can just WhatsApp or you can comment it in the video. Okay, all right, so that's all for today's class. See you in the next video. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Do subscribe our channel and share among your friends.